Alright folks, thank you for watching that break. Sorry it took a couple of moments longer than expected there, but we're almost ready to go. Do you have the maps from these guys, or are we just going with the pre-made ones?
I think we're going pre-made ones, although they're already in-game apparently, so...
Wait, what?
Well, they're already in a lobby, I think, just as I hosted. Now they've come out of the lobby. And now they're going back into... I'm so confused.
Oh, I've been invited to a lobby that has Game Heart. That's all I care about, so let's just pile on in.
Okay, where are you? There's Naruto in there. Why don't I have any of you guys on my friend list?
Because you're a dick? I don't know, Wardy. You tell me.
My friend list is kind of full, man. When can I get more friend slots? It's not fair.
I'm really annoyed. So during the break, guys, I tried to restart my stream deck. I unplugged it, all that good stuff. Still not working. Still no good. So let's stop into the game scene. Frick.
Man.
It's such a crutch.
Just try turning it off and on.
That's what I literally just described. That's what I just did, Wardy.
No, you unplugged it and plugged it. That's not off and on. That's unplug and replug.
Alright,
yeah, shut up. You can intro.
Welcome back. It's the BTSL. We continue on with what is now a qualification series. Now, I know normally we would cast every single qualification series, but we got 4 of them in total, so we'll be doing this, 2 semifinals, a grand finals. Hopefully that will make up for it, but this is the one we're going to get to see. And TvT here in Europe is pretty rare, much less between 2 fantastic Polish players. To the bottom left, we have the yellow Terran Ziggy.
To the upper right-hand side, we do have his Polish counterpart, the blue Terran player, Sol.
Also, real quick, let's talk about today's featured sponsor, folks. We got a lot of wonderful people helping make the BTSL happen, helping hype up that prize pool, and give us money to do production costs and other things to have the live event go down. And today's big love goes to Dodger Coffee Co. We did an amateur event with them not too long ago. It was pretty fun. It was pretty wild. I'm glad that they were willing to get involved with something like this, a little bit more professional, but still I think will be just as fun. But most importantly, we have a coffee command in chat. If you guys want to type !coffee in chat, or use the code BTSL, either way, you should be able to get 10% off any purchase from their website, whether it's a t-shirt, bag of beans. Check it out. Type in !coffee in the chat. And for those who are wondering, yes, this is Dodger, as in the streamer, the YouTuber, the absolutely most wonderful girl in the universe, Dodger, and her coffee company. We were blessed enough to have her come on stream, actually, when we did do the tournament with them. Got a bit of an interview, bit of a hangout. She actually watched the whole tournament, which impressed me the most. So 10 out of 10 recommend, guys. Not to mention I'm a little hyped up on some of their cold brew at the moment.
Man,
this...
You live in the dream. Coffee, StarCraft.
Well, as someone who doesn't normally drink coffee, I don't know if I call it the hashtag dream, but it's an interesting experience. I think it is to me what cocaine would be for normal people, but the supply depot block, just absolutely not an important deal in TvT. Sol proves this by just building the command center. I mean, this does technically throw him off slightly in timing. He will have to lift the command center. He will have to move the command center. But it is such a non-important deal.
Yeah,
this is a big deal,
really
though.
weird.
He's like 2.5 shots up, 3 shots up on Ziggy, I think. He could get the cancel on this SCV. And while the command center moving is annoying, having your command center stalled out is even worse.
Even if he doesn't stall out too much further, just having the 2 kills on the workers already is obviously a pretty big deal as well, because the SCV of Sol actually got out of there after being part of the fight, which is kind of impressive and kind of crazy. So that definitely makes up for having to move his CC around a little bit. And Sol is off to a pretty good start already, winning out in the very early Reaper Wars.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
He's gone for a third CC this quick in TvT?
That is very quick.
Wow. So this is like beyond ballsy. It's such a dangerous thing to do in the era of what is Cyclone versus Cyclone, because it could really make you fall off. But if, and this is a big if, Sol gets away with it, he is going to snowball so nicely with those workers. And wow, I have not seen this skin in game yet. This looks ridiculous. I didn't think Cyclones could look more ridiculous. What,
yeah.
They gave them these like exhaust pipes on the back? I want to be like a Hellion.
Some of the Terran skins on the new war chest are pretty interesting, I have to say.
I mean, I love people were really criticizing the fact that they just put blades on everything. I'm like, nah, I'm cool with that, dude. I'm all about that road warrior life, right? But the I don't know. For Jesus. Okay, we're gonna just move past this. Cyclones are already very boxy and silly looking. They just managed to multiply it.
SCV picks up a kill on the Reaper. What a hero. As we actually see Ziggy going into that next command center as well, so Soul really just like a little step ahead in terms of economy, and it's definitely going to help him. Of course, if he just sits defensively, then there's no real way for Ziggy to break him if they're both just producing 2 Cyclones at a time. So looking good for Soul, who throws down double armory, and once those upgrades kick in, I mean, Cyclones, they love the upgrades. They benefit so much from them.
That's a really interesting scan, too. It did confirm the fact that his opponent had a much faster 3rd CC, but because Ziggy had started his own, he's actually not too far behind on that front. But the couple of workers killed combined with the early CC, it's clear as day why Soul has the faster SC, or the larger SCV count. Yikes.
Yeah.
Also,
sorry.
Well, speaking of yikes, if Ziggy goes up this ramp, he's gonna have a real bad time.
Yeah, this is not going to be fun at all. It's actually kind of amusing. They're both like set up the Cyclones on like opposite ramps to each other, stare down. It's like if they could actually see more than like 5 meters ahead of them, they'd just be watching each other from the top of the hills, ready to strike.
Have you seen the weird bug with the Cyclone upgrade, by the way?
No, I don't think so.
So when you get the, I don't remember the name of the upgrade is, but the thing that makes it so they can shoot more shots faster, they get those red lasers, right, as their visual upgrade. If you put them in a medevac, for whatever reason, those lasers show up like 5 feet above the medevac. So you're just flying around with these weird random lasers. It looks so silly. It's the greatest bug.
Sounds amazing.
Oh, this is so sick, though. The command center provides the vision and distracts with a lock on. If Soul wants to get in on this, he really could. He's going to try and collapse on it, maybe? Oh, but the Hellion, thank God for this Hellion, realizes what's up. And the grade for the barracks is not going to be overtaking him here. This could have been so bad. This could have been so dangerous. And what? Here we are casting a European TvT, and we just got a monster host, like the biggest host we've had probably ever from an old school Terran, to say the least. Show, my dude. Shows viewers, I don't have nearly as many memes to show. I don't have as many Hearthstone skills, but we got us some good quality StarCraft 2 over here and a $10,000 tournament qualifier going on. So for those who just tuned in, thank you, Show, for that host. That's more than awesome. But for the few of you who will maybe stick around, we got a lot of games still ahead of us today. A lot of StarCraft for anyone who might still enjoy this dead meme of a game.
We're really just getting started in the second series of the day as you'll join us for some good old Cyclone Wars as well. If Soul actually going to get on top of these Cyclones and just doesn't quite grab that one there. Ziggy just opening up the map a little bit by taking down some of these rocks. And Soul still that kind of just set of SCVs ahead. But also the upgrades about to kick in, and that really is going to be huge in this next fight. Interested to see a couple of Vikings starting to come out as well right now. Starting to get that air control for
Vikings. This is the coolest Viking skin there is, straight up.
Yeah, the Viking skin looks pretty sick. It looks like so different while still obviously being a Viking, right? It's really well done.
So one of the key things about TvT with this Cyclone vs. Cyclone war is like, yes, this can snowball and look really ridiculous, but a tank can make a world of difference, and landed Vikings can too. They deal 20 damage to mechanical units, which unfortunately Cyclones are, but it's still not looking like it's going to be enough. Soul just has such a big number of Cyclones as he continues to push in here. There's no finesse with Ravens, there's no interference matrix, it's just brute force as he completely dismantles Ziggy's army with his 1-1 upgrade lead.
The upgrades are just so crucial in this fight. They do so much because of how quickly the Cyclones fire that the DPS increase is really just insane. And the kind of the damage they are able to tank more with the armor upgrade. And that makes a big play for Soul through the centers. Now he's going to continue attacking and he's going to roll into towards this 3rd CC. A 4th CC just starting to build. That cancels instantly and Ziggy's in trouble.
Yeah, if there was a couple of tanks set up at home, this would be no problem. We've actually seen innovation in the same situation be down in Cyclones, lose the fight, but come back to win the war. Ziggy doesn't have the tools to do that, though. He does set up a tank over here. He's been making that transition to Liberators, but I fear that the damage has already been dealt just by forcing this 3rd CC out.
Yeah, this is really just fantastic form. Soul's set up on 4 bases mining at this point, or about to be mining. And of course, as he sets up on that, Ziggy's just sat on 2 bases trying to relocate his 3rd to somewhere where maybe the Cyclones aren't, but Soul's even coming around this direction too, and he might even just attack into this tank now.
I mean, he's backing up because he doesn't know that there's not just one tank. But yeah, only one tank is not that scary. Some of these Cyclones are within one-shot range, though. He's gonna push off another command center using that lock-on. Not that much damage, really but nice. Enough.
I mean, even just keeping this command center from mining at all just means there's so many SCVs that just sat around doing nothing. You know, initially they were repairing, but now they're really not doing anything at all. Repairing the CC yet again, just wasting minerals, wasting mining time, and I mean, Soul's army supplies are really just starting to be insane. As now you had aliens and tanks into the composition. Liberator back at home is going to be a little bit of an annoyance, but other than that, everything is in Soul's favor at the moment.
Yeah, but Soul's reaction time, he pulls immediately, doesn't lose a single SCV to this Liberator. And I just showed the income graph pretty substantially in Soul's favor, but the army graph too, you can see right where those Cyclones hit, guys, and it has been a hard recovery from there. I don't know if Ziggy can make this happen. If this was not a mirror matchup, there's a lot to talk about, but the fact is, it's a mirror matchup where Soul's up not just one, but 2 bases to his opponent.
Yeah, it's really brutal. Mirror matchups they just have those very slight things. I think upgrades, especially like we just saw in this fight, are so crucial in mirror matchups, because if you have the same set of units and one guy has upgrades and the other doesn't, guess what? He'll just win that fight. And obviously you said it as well, like he had the numbers too. Everything was just on Soul's side going into this here and now. And Soul just pushing across the map, and with the tanks to reinforce the Cyclones at the front, this is going to be very, very difficult for Ziggy to win.
Yeah, I mean, well, this might not be Marine Tank anymore, and Cyclone Tank or Cyclone Liberator is going to take in the stage. There's just, I feel for Ziggy, the problem classically in any matchup, there's no buffer for those tanks, regardless of what composition you're going for. Like, his tanks are buffering his tanks, and that's not how you want that to play out.
Yeah, this is really rough. I think Soul's given him a lot of respect that he hasn't just pushed in already and just tried to take a fight.
Oh.
As he's going to come back around the left-hand side again.
I didn't realize how substantial these upgrade leads were. Jesus, 2-2 to 0-0. Yeah. Forget the dynamic of Cyclones and what they are. That's just a great lead here for Soul.
Oh yeah, you just don't really come back from deficits like that, because he Soul Sieges up, and now he's going to kind of control this little bit of an area between the bases, and well, he's actually a little bit out of range, doesn't have the vision just yet. Cyclones will lock on to kill a Viking. Did they get it?
Oh, wow, quite. No. 5 health.
Just getting out of there in time.
Hey, so also, taking a quick moment to mention, we'll actually hold that thought for now. Tries to break in here. Might have been a little bit greedy going in, but he does beat his opponent's tanks to the siege. However, out of range and without the vision, Soul can't advance. Bit of a stalemate set up now with the tanks. Flying from the backside, maybe. He doesn't have vision over here. He should have range, but he doesn't see it coming, so Soul's actually going to be the one to lose his tanks, and that lead we saw has kind of started to dissipate.
So still trying to push in towards this third base now, from a bit more to the top, and this CC is taking quite a lot of damage. It's going to go down. So command center is lost here, and those SCVs now just have to hide behind the minerals. You see a couple of Liberators coming in from Soul, and there is Vikings up from Ziggy. So I'm not sure what exactly Soul was hoping for with these. Is okay, the tanks have unsieged, but now it's going to cost him an entire Liberator.
Yeah, Ziggy's doing a great job trying to fight back. Down the CC is not going to be nice. Before the CC went down, this was starting to look like a comeback. He was starting to win that army fight. He was starting to beat Soul back despite the upgrades. But losing the CC might be a little bit much. I don't know. We'll see. Siege is up here. He's going to get some good shots here at his opponent's tank. Ziggy getting way too dedicated. Lands the Vikings. Wants those tank kills. Greedy, to say the least.
The Vikings just cost him so much here, right? I mean, they're such valuable units throughout this game that now he just doesn't have in his army. The last couple of Vikings are going to trade out in the skies. Maybe the 4 can push this into Soul's favor, and it does. A few of those tanks are saved, and Soul is still just sitting here, up in supply with a better set of units. Now he's reset the Viking count. He can actually go into Vikings and then Liberators of his own once again, control the skies, and then what you're going to do is Ziggy, because now your tanks are going to get pushed out of position all the time.
The Thors are an interesting choice. This is more to do with the air that didn't end up being a problem because he landed it all. But I was going to say moments ago, I'll try and bring this up real quick before the fights begin. If those who just joined from Show's stream are people who casually play StarCraft 2, about 10 minutes or so for me speaking, so you have time to go sign up for this and play. We have a Diamond and Below tournament that'll be taking place behind the scenes of while we cast the European BTSL qualifiers. We'll cast the finals of the BTSL amateur set. It's for Diamond players and below, and you can win an hour of coaching with a coach of your choice, paid for by us here at BaseTradeTV. So if you want to get in on that, you got 10 minutes to go sign up and get ready to play. Could be some good times.
Go check it out. Definitely worthwhile. You could be the next StarCraft 2 pro. Gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, you could show that you're better than him. Guy can barely play the campaign nowadays, am I right? No, I love Show. Big respect for him. But the blue flame heli run by on the left side of the map from Soul just now was fantastic. It only killed a small amount of SCVs, but it stalled out the CC. Took Ziggy a long time to get back on this. And keep in mind, guys, this isn't Ziggy building a new base. It's trying to recover one of the old ones.
Yeah, this is really tough. I mean, Ziggy doing a nice little bit of something. He has some Hellions and bits and pieces, but Soul's still in the center of the map, pushing around, looking for those chances, and...
Whoa. 5 Liberators at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Just so many units available here for Soul. And now he has the Viking count as well, right? So he's going to win the air fight and then siege up all the Liberators, which, when there's no anti-air, they're just going to break through siege tank lines just like that. There's going to be no question about it.
Well, that's where the Thors are meant to be really powerful to help pick off that sky. And I think he was expecting Ziggy to go Liberators and more Vikings, but regardless, here we go. He has the Viking count, as you pointed out. Siege is up on top of the tanks with those Liberators, and well, maybe, just maybe, this planetary will fall. It doesn't look like it's going to.
I mean, like, this was a really good kind of position for Ziggy to get into, right? Like, this looked like a bit of a base trade where he gets the upper hand, but the Liberators are loaded on to defend this, and at the same time, Soul's killed 14 workers. He's in position to pick off the third base as well, and he's just going to continue just causing chaos.
Soul might have lost 2 factories, but it's way worse to lose 2 starports. Ziggy knows this as well. Finally taps out, and Soul, ladies and gentlemen, will lock down game number 1. Whew.
Pretty fun game. Pretty interesting TvT after such a lead.
I think it only really truly became interesting when Soul took that bad fight, because then suddenly Ziggy had a chance to be back in it, like against all odds, despite the upgrades, and that did shake things up. But Cyclone versus Cyclone, TvT in general, like, I don't think it's nearly as, personally, I don't think it's as exciting as it was when it was Marine Tank versus Marine Tank. A lot of chess moves, a lot of drops, a lot of cool things. But it still comes down to, like, no matter what you're doing, Terran is always so positionally dependent. And that was so made obvious by Soul in that game. Taking some real bad fights.
Yeah, he really allowed Ziggy to kind of fight back for a while, right? But then, at the end of the day, it was just a little bit too much. So we're going to get to see abiogenesis for this next TvT. Well, this could go so very differently to Blackpink. It could be so much faster with the way that this map generally works. Small, aggressive, kind of easy to attack on as well. It's going to be interesting for TvT.
Like I said, this is a map that we're not seeing. Like, Eastwatch is rarely seen. Acid Plant so, but for whatever reason, we're seeing a Biogenesis a lot. And I know everyone's going to get hung up on the pronunciation. I don't care at this point. It's a silly map name. that's my professional opinion. But folks, it is game 2 in a best of 3. This is the BTSL, and for those who came from Show's stream, I saw a lot of you actually asking chat. Sorry, there's so much action we couldn't answer. What's the war chest thing about? We have a match arena fund running. This number is actually going to have another $5,000 injected into it. We've just been waiting on the Twitch paycheck to come through. Happens on the 15th of every month. Every streamer celebrates. And yeah, we're going to put another 5K into this. But the war chest is what's basically letting us produce the offline version of this tournament. So for those who don't know, the TLDR, we're hosting online events here. Oh, I should probably wrap this up quickly. We're hosting online events for Europe and Korea. Leads to having your flights and some prize money, so you can come play in the offline finals in Canada, or we're going to have an over $5,000 prize pool live event here in Vancouver on the West Coast. So it should be a lot of fun. Should be some good stuff. Good times. But because he's proxying, we got to introduce him in the top left. It's the Yellow Terran, Ziggy. And he's up to no good.
Oh man, it's the bottom right hand side. Opener of the double gas, already a good setup for him here to deal with this. We have Soul. He's 1-0 up in the series. If he deflects this, he'll go straight through to the semifinals and be our first qualified player as well, I believe, for Europe.
Yep, and this is, I wish I had my voice modulator on so I could do the robot voice and say, "Don't cheese me, bro." Like,
wow.
This is
now
pretty brutal, though.
Now I know why I need a stream deck, man.
Well,
so just sold.
Reapers can snowball in a lot of terrible ways in TvT, but the worst part about this map is how wide it is, and we're seeing that actually Soul is trying to cover his vision with this, but there's a Reaper hop-up spot on the backside over here. There's a way to get up over here if you don't want to go all the way through the ramp over here. It's actually way more difficult for the defender, I feel, to try and predict these movements than for the attacker to just pick a spot and go. So I really like, well, first off, thank you for this bit spam in chat. Big love to Diet Soda. But I love that the depot is coming down to give him the vision. He has no clue that Ziggy's doing this proxy, but he has an idea something might be up, so he's taking all the precautions he can.
Gonna see a couple of Reapers just popping up, and they are gonna start getting some damage done. SCV finishes the factory though, which means it can't be delayed, and that's already a really big positive. We're gonna see a few SCVs pulling in. The first Reaper of Soul will start to fight this as well. Going for the Cyclone takes a little bit longer to get out than a Hellion.
Oh,
so
wow.
That's a little bit of an issue as well. That was a bit of a weird grenade.
That micro to Ziggy though was really cool, the way he danced around those SCVs to get the shots on that Reaper, but yeah, time's ticking, and once that Cyclone comes out, this is a lot easier to hold, and I can't believe those bits are still coming. Diet Soda, I love your face, man. You are so annoying, and I love you for it. But 6 SCVs dead. Yo, the Cyclone should be able to handle this, but if he can, by some miracle, get around the Cyclone, a lot more SCVs are going to die still.
Yeah, that's the issue with the Cyclones, right? And this is what's so good about this build on this map, is just what you said. There's so many different kind of points of entry. However, Soul did wall off over on this side already, and that's actually pretty nice for him because it means it's one less direction in which Ziggy can jump in. So you can see the Cyclone contended fight, but doesn't quite get a Reaper kill. Another Cyclone coming up, so Soul will stabilize. This is actually going to be kind of a stabilized game here, so this is quite nice. We're going to see him actually jumping onto the Cyclone, and he will kill one of them. It's actually not bad for the Reapers.
Oh, that's pretty fantastic. If he wasn't so low, he'd probably go right to that mineral line. Realizing now there's the option for kills. He's just trying to dodge out that Cyclone until he's got more health to fight with. Getting the depot wouldn't be too bad, but a supply block isn't going to be what kills Soul.
No, it really isn't, as we're going to be seeing Soul just making another Cyclone. Still 2 Reapers on the way at a time from Ziggy, who's getting his own Cyclones now as well. If he can bring those across the map, he can have a lot of success with them. One of the scary things is, though, he might be kind of a little bit afraid of a proxy starport or something, because that's a very common kind of response to this.
Oh.
However, in this game so far, obviously there's not been a chance for Soul to build a starport at all as he begins to expand.
How terribly awkward as he finds the ability to hop up that cliff.
There's a nice little timing as the factory is just transferring onto that reactor there.
Cyclone versus Cyclone will still be a fairly large factor. I do love the barracks liftoff. He knows he's done with the Reapers, so uses this to get a little bit more damage. There's the supply block we had predicted coming down, but it's not going to last that long.
Yeah, this is manageable for Soul still, as we're going to be seeing. Needs to get off that barracks and actually start fighting those Reapers again. It's a scary number of Reapers. They can get kills on the Cyclones. We've already seen it happen once in this game. As you're going to see for now, he's slowing down the CC, but the double Cyclone production is going to be a big part of this now from Soul. And 2 more Cyclones coming out really should mean that he's sturdy and safe at this stage.
Damn, by the way, just got an update from the admin. 28 players, Wardy, have checked in for the BTSL Amateur Series. That is
nice.
So many more players than we see in any of our pro events. That is actually so sick. So shout out to all you Diamond Doughboys and below.
The heroes of the StarCraft community. The players we need. Oh, that Reaper grenade was pretty nice.
Yeah, even if he doesn't kill the Cyclones, he still bought a lot of time for him to get his own back at home. I mean, his production was later because, you know, he built everything on proxy, but when we consider how this has gone, you know, Ziggy's got the slightly faster command center, ever so slightly. His Cyclone count should hold, but that's a should, not a will. Top of the ramp will be a good fight to start. He'll probably pick off 1 Cyclone on the way in, even it up 3-3. And these Reapers are still going to be very annoying.
Oh no. Well, the Cyclones for a moment nearly ran up the ramp on the other side when 1 Cyclone was just there, but now there's 5 Cyclones as the Reapers coming back in, and they're going to be able to do some damage as well. Soul gets out of there and just loses 1 Cyclone? No, gets out with everything, which is great for him. Just looking for the openings, doesn't find it. And what a weird opening, by the way. Both of them just going to be macro now.
Both players showing some really good control this game. Like, honestly, some fantastic micro to both sides. And I'm not saying that just because they go on board, there's nothing else to talk about. Like, pulling the 1 Cyclone back from Ziggy, not overcommitting by Soul, might not sound like a big deal, but it's so easy to lose control and horse blinder yourself when it comes to these Cyclone fights. I love the way this has been handled out of both. I honestly couldn't tell you who's in a better spot from it. And I think numbers is going to be what matters at the end of the day.
Those Reapers going to be diving in again, and they're going to be able to get a couple of kills. It's still crazy that, what, like 3 or 4 minutes after the first Reapers hit, these Reapers are still around and still getting more and more damage done. Look at that, there's 4 more SCVs!
And 2 of which were building things, so that's kind of annoying. Supply depots most importantly, so Soul is supply blocked once again.
Oh man.
Finish
He's
it.
actually taking quite a lead in this one.
Finish it! Does he not realize? Oh, come on. That's like...
I don't wanna just be sad he has a half-finished depot.
He's like,
oh man.
I don't want to have supply. I don't need supply.
Supply is so like 2017.
He's going to be, unfortunately, surprised when he realizes he can't build anything, though.
Oh.
Tank out for Ziggy. That's going to help a lot here.
Yep, I mean, at this point, I think Soul's just kind of out of options in terms of trying to be aggressive himself, right? Because how do you actually be aggressive when you just have less cyclones and there's a tank in play? There's no that upgrade lead that we saw last game from Soul. In fact, Ziggy's the one who's just now starting up his armories, so he's going to be at the upgrade lead, if anyone, throughout this.
Another update from our admin, by the way. It looks like Lily Canine's actually feeling rather sick today, so he'll be dropping out of our bracket, meaning if Snoot or Scruffy win their match, they've automatically qualified through to the semifinals.
Well, there we go. Some nice updates live from the admin. You should give Darius the ability to like make a notification pop up on the screen. It's like live from Admin City.
Like a breaking news alert or something.
Yeah.
That would be cool. I tried to stand on the rocks. I love this move. That's actually really clever, but I still don't know if that's enough.
Yeah, this was tough, right? Because I feel as though this should have gone better for Ziggy, but he lost so much damage time targeting the rocks that this kind of went bad. Now Soul's going to start jumping on reinforcements, although a couple of low health cyclones means he actually only trades evenly somehow still. Now he's going to be a little bit trapped in here, so this might not turn out to be as good as he wanted it to be, but he can maybe kind of turn and fight on the high ground, cancel the CC at least. Well, I mean, that's not so bad, and he is actually going to have more cyclones at the start of this fight. Soul turning this one around. Wow.
This is one of the key parts about a Biogenesis, though. It is such a short map for rush distance. Any other map, he would not have been able to hit that timing. He would not have been there before the tank was sieged up. But because the map's so bloody short, he hit just when he needed to.
Oh yeah, that was very nicely done. I was going to see these cyclones going to come in from the top side, and they're going to start working their way through this third base and try and do a little bit more. There should be enough here from Ziggy, surely, right? But he actually needs to siege up the tank. That's how little he has right now. And Soul, well, he's actually getting a lot of damage done here, and that third CC is lifting up once again. And I feel like we've seen this all over, or once before. I feel like we saw this a little bit in the last game, as now SCVs are dropping too, and well, that advantage that Ziggy had is very quickly disappearing.
Yeah, a bit of strange deja vu. Scan so you can keep the lock-on going a little bit longer. With the SCVs repairing, this was never really in danger. But the fact that he's beaten off the third base is still a big deal. Unlike the previous game, though, there's not a huge upgrade discrepancy, but numbers still matter the most, and with 45 army supply to 21, he might as well have 2-2.
Yeah, it's really brutal, and there's just like so few cyclones. The tank's only firing on one cyclone at a time because Soul's just splitting away so nicely to minimize the damage that he takes, and Soul just doing everything brilliantly here in the last minute or so. I mean, since those rocks went down, like in that fight, everything's just gone Soul's way, and I feel before then, Soul was in a little bit of a tough spot, so it really has been a good job for him to turn this around as he blocks that CC from landing. Just another kind of, well, punch in the face for Ziggy, who just can't even get back going for himself here.
Actually taking a quick peek at the income graph, guys. It has been all over the place. As far as getting the CC up and lifted, this was actually a necessity for Soul by the looks of things. He was just, despite his command center timing being similar, he's not saturated it, there's no mules down there. Like, he's still not really effectively on a third base, all things considered. So for Ziggy, yes, this is annoying and incredibly frustrating, but he's actually got a whole command center up on Soul. Recovery for this for Ziggy shouldn't be too problematic. Unless Soul realizes that base is there, but there's no reason for him to scout.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very weird location because that base is so kind of set off from everything else. I mean, there's even rocks blocking Ziggy's own access to that base, right? So it's going to be a weird one to just see Soul for now, just happy with his map control in the center. And, well, I think as he said, Ziggy's going to start recovering a little bit. He just needed a moment or two. It's Soul, let's go and double upgrades. And it's little differences like that that in the long term will benefit Soul more than they benefit Ziggy, of course. Soul also going to take his fourth base right now, just starting that up. But obviously much later, and actually gets denied. So it's going to be delayed just a little bit there, and still Ziggy just trying to do a little bit more. Soul's actually trying to push up this ramp, though. He's going to get the tanks, and now he's going to back away, using that barracks for vision.
Not just vision, but bait. Of course, if you're locked onto the barracks, you can't even just like right-click another unit. You have to actually cancel the lock-on to attack something else. So that was kind of a good way to use the barracks, bait the shots out from about half the Cyclones, and then move in for the tank. I like that.
It's been something both of these players have done quite a bit here of their barracks throughout the games. Ziggy was using it when he was proxy Reapering, of course, as now he goes into extra starports, so now he's going to look for air control here, as we're going to be seeing skirmishes in the center, Soul pulling away, disengaging from that. He doesn't want anything to do with those Cyclones.
He should be able to get that air control too. Soul's a little quite late to his, and oh, this Hellion run by. Not going to be like the craziest, oh my god, run by of all time, but it's still good. Soul was so late to this third, he's driven off of it by the time he finally gets on it.
7 SCVs going down, and again, it's the little bits and pieces from Ziggy that can claw him back into this game. As we're going to be seeing Infernal Ignited coming up from Ziggy too, and that's something which if Soul doesn't have, could affect him in some of these fights, but also just straight up improves the kind of run-by potential there. As we're going to be seeing Soul now also taking down his own set of rocks to give him better access to the 4th base, just as Ziggy did a moment or two ago. And still signed up into towards this continued kind of mech versus mech play. Beyond Abiogenesis, I mean, it's just you know, they're both playing on like a tipping point. You know, one slightly wrong move and the other player is just going to be across the map and pouncing on that advantage.
I mean, there's a couple things to say actually responding to chat in this regard too. First off, like, is this the present TvT meta? And the answer to that's kind of like an unfortunate yes. But secondly, like, Ziggy doesn't know what to do, so his 1B formula, or BA formula, and that's kind of the thing. It's not necessarily that you don't know what to do, it's just, do you know how to react? I think every Terran player actually knows what to do. It's just not so easy to follow through with it. Like, you know that the steps are you play Cyclones into tanks, into air control, into Liberators. That's how it goes. But suddenly you realize you're slightly out of position. You've not quite scouted that attack on the left side, and things start snowballing. When you knew you were on the right path to do things, you had that CC lead, you can find yourself falling behind. And I think that's one of the things we're witnessing here with the upgrades, if nothing else.
Yeah, most definitely. I think it's just really tough to be able to read every TvT and especially make the decisions correctly all the time, because sometimes you make that switch and suddenly you're just getting counterattacked and you're losing your entire army because you're in the middle of switching text units. So it's going to be really tough. And this is a really nice move here out of Ziggy though. And he is going to be able to pick his way through this planetary fortress. It's getting low with every volley, and now Soul engages in, but a bit late. He's already taken a lot of damage here. He will be able to start cleaning out these tanks.
It took so long to actually knock down the CC though. That thing kept bouncing back up from 1 health to barely any health. Finds dead zone with this 1 tank. My god, what a hero.
Wow, he's going to win that out, of course. He's going to be seeing though a Viking lands to get some more damage. However, the tank will win that fight. The Viking doesn't jump back up into the air in time. But Ziggy's definitely creating a larger lead for himself here throughout this game. I mean, after taking down that CC and trading pretty well because Soul had to fight into siege up tanks, suddenly Ziggy's, you know, income lead. He's got the army supply advantage. The upgrades right now are even, or about to be even once again, with 2-1 finishing. And well, here we go. Tanks fight into this. The Cyclones from Ziggy are doing their job, and Soul's armies just disappearing as the Vikings will land to join this fight as well.
Normally, I'm not a big fan of the Viking drops, but that one was a nice coup de grace on the army. Not coming back in. That's just it. GG's get called. Ziggy manages to tie up the series 1-1. Couldn't ask for a better setup in a qualification match. Not a 2-0, but we're going to the ace. Guys, we're going to go to a quick commercial break here, just 2 minutes on our side. When we get back, it'll be Game 3, the deciding match, to see which of these two players qualify into the Season 1 BTSL. See you soon. All right, folks, we're back, and we're just going to hop directly into game. It's Map 3, already starting up. But some interesting developments on the bracket side of things real quick before we do the intros. Because on the bottom side of the bracket, we managed to have Sorter versus Gem Rising, so ZVZ. Night In versus Mana, so PvP. Guaranteeing a PvZ semifinals match, which should be some pretty good times. But also guaranteeing 1 Protoss, 1 Zerg, and with this mirror matchup, 1 Terran into the group stages. So far, perfect balance.
Game doesn't need to be fixed anymore. It's done.
Yeah, just gotta seed better.
Just gotta seed better. Oh man. All right. Well, that's pretty awesome. As our bracket is looking pretty good, and looks the Snoot advanced as well to play Lilo Cannon, which is a walkover, right? So
I believe so. I'm not sure.
To the yeah. Well, if that's still true, he goes to the semifinals to play against whoever wins this matchup here. So that's a pretty cool CVT.
Yo, Ziggy's a pretty good player. I really don't want to discredit him with this, but I'm more excited to see what is possibly Soul versus Snoot, because those two have a bit of a history, and I think Snoot has the win record versus him, if I recall. I'd have to double check that, but either way, I think Snoot's TVZ is one of my favorite matches to watch. So regardless of which of these two go through, that'll be a fun semifinals. But as they look to unpause this, big thank you to Mr. Vaggy for the 3-month resub. And Milk and Cookies, thank you for the 35 months. And of course, this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 700 bitty bits from Diet Soda during that last game. Thank you very much for that, my dude. But the amateur tournament has officially begun, so you can check out the brackets for that as well. Both this and the amateur tournament brackets are in the ! brackets command. So if you want to see your friend and where he's at in the tournament. But as I go to the Twitch dashboard to get those links, I also noticed that folks, and this is an absolute sellout moment, forgive me, we're at 999 subscribers. If there's one person out there with their Twitch Prime available, off of cooldown, and willing to perhaps bless us with it, you would be our 1000th subscriber. I'm just saying. A pretty special number that's been achieved by more people than you'd expect. But okay, it's game number 3. Things have been tied up 1-1, and in the top left of Backwater, what the hell is this map? It's Seoul.
Yeah, nice large one here to get us going into our final ace game of this. To the bottom right, it is Ziggy, Yellow Terran. And it's Poland versus Poland matchup, and some interesting TvTs so far as already. The Reaper and Orbital coming down, and Seoul is having some issues apparently.
He's lagging a bit. To quickly talk on the map while we see, hopefully this resolves itself. This is a map that against most other races, for a Terran player, you love this map. You've got what is essentially free third base. There's no way to walk in, so by just walling off your natural, you've also walled off your third. Feels good, man. But you can't really pull it off as easily in a TvT. There's 2 things that you got to worry about. One of which is Liberators, and the other which is tanks. And then if for some reason it's not Cyclone Tank, you might have to worry about drops. But this third base is not so free, and it's not so secure in a TvT. So these guys will not have that freebie that you would against, say, Zerg, for example.
Yeah, it's going to be really... It's going to be an interesting one because like such a large map as well makes the Cyclone versus Cyclone so different. And after watching Abiogenesis, this map could not be any larger.
I know, it's the polar opposite. I mean, this and was it Eastwatch or the big maps this season?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. And this I think is even bigger than Eastwatch. I think Eastwatch feels big with its layout, but this map like literally just takes an eternity to walk across it. It's so big here.
That's why the Eastwatch might actually beat it out, not in terms of actual size, but if you knock down the right rocks and open the other paths, like you could have to go all the way around the map. So either or. By the way, Archon on the SCV, thank you for the 12-month resub. Comes in to say Partoof time. Yeah, dude. For those who don't know, if you've been subbed to the channel for 12 months or longer, because some of you guys who have like 36 months haven't claimed your Partoofs yet, send us a direct message here on Twitch. Don't send us a whisper. Whispers are disabled, but DM us here on Twitch. We'll input your name to the bot. We'll see if you qualify for a Partoof, and if you do, we'll send you a form to fill out, get your address, and send that out. But yo, all 3 of these people might as well be our 1,000th subscribers because we keep going up and we keep going down. Thank you to Lens, Tasty Salsa, yum, Tasty Salsa 7, Torath AZ, and Electro Magneto. All for your Prime subs. All 4 of you are basically our 1,000th subscriber, or our 4,000th subscribers. I wish. Yeah, well, not quite those numbers yet, but still, thank you guys all so much. Oh Jesus, Soul, what's going on, man? We're on Europe.
This is like wow, Ziggy. Yeah, he's having some ping issues, so a little bit of a shame for him. Hopefully he can get it sorted out and we can get going. He has no pauses left anyway, so if it doesn't work this time, he just has to deal with it. Poor guy. Can't pause anymore.
Internet. Does that mean we have to just remake because they'll disconnect?
Sometimes they can disconnect from one internet and join the other in time, so it's okay, I guess.
All right, let's see what happens. Winter Kappa says, are these guys Master League? So I would say a majority of the folks we're going to see going forward are Grandmasters. A lot of them have separate accounts for playing versus actually competing. I don't know which accounts these guys are on, if they're on their mains or not.
I think everyone that's left in the bracket right now is Grandmaster.
Yeah, at least Grandmaster skill level, to say the least.
Oh, yeah. And quite high up as well. I mean, we're talking about, like, you know, Snoot, Mana.
Possibly, sort of.
These guys.
Yeah.
Night End, sort of, Jim Horizons. Yeah, they're definitely pretty high up there. All right. Pretty cool bracket, as you said. It looks though Snoot did pick up the walkover as well, by the way.
All right. Hopefully you'll feel good enough to get back in the next qualifier. We got... there we go. There's the DC. We'll just recover game. This is one of the cool features of StarCraft 2 available. We can recover the replay and pick off right from where it left off. So, yeah, a little bit awkward, but it happens. But here's what's cool, guys. For this, we have 4 qualifiers in total. Each qualifier is going to allow 14 players through to make up an eventual round of 16. So 4 groups in total. But if you haven't seen or read the details, there's actually a cool catch to the Europe side of this. To be clear, this is not happening for the Asia Open or the Korean BTSL, but for the European BTSL only. We're doing a sort of GSL style pick system. So players will pick their opponents and pick their groups instead of random seeding that we've done in the past. So higher placement in these qualifiers will give you first pick priority when it comes to that group stage pick. And you're going to find yourself picking opponents that you know you can beat, that will be easy peasy, that will get you through that group and into the round of 8. So at this point going forward, while we're talking about skill level and GMs and all these players, it's still important that they finish first in the tournament. Yes, there's a little bit of prize money, 50 bucks, but there's also the fact that you'll get that priority pick, which could really determine whether you make it to the round of 8 or not in some cases.
It's pretty sick. Being able to actually pick your opponents, it's a pretty big advantage, man. What happens if... So, when someone qualifies, can they play in another qualifier, or can they not play anymore?
You know what? Actually, we hadn't considered that. Because maybe they want to play for sake of placements. At the moment...
maybe some extra cash, right? Like...
Right. So, I'm going to say at this current moment in time, once you're qualified, you're good, and you can't. But I might actually revise that, now that you've brought it up, because that's not something I've considered.
Exciting.
Well, anyways, we're recovering the replay. It puts this blocker up for everybody, the players included, so there's no way to scout and see whether your opponent's doing a proxy by looking at the mini-map or anything like that. These guys will be left off right where they lagged out.
We can get going. Hopefully with no lag.
I hate this little bar at the top, too. Like, this is good. I like that you can hide it now, but it always makes me feel like, did we just, like, hop into a replay cast? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, it's it just automatically shows up. Well, you can always bring it up, right? Like even when you're not in a replay cast as well.
Yeah, Control Shift O, so you can hop on someone's camera, easy peasy. But
that's
Reaper,
that's what I'm doing right now.
Reaper killing that SCV is a nice start here for Ziggy. Remember, this is exactly where we left off, guys. So no fuss, no muss. Anything that was going to happen happened.
Yep, just straight up kind of continuation from the game as we see, well, 2 very different openings actually, with Soul already going for the expansion here, whereas Ziggy on the other side of the map is going for the double gas, 1 base play for well, and this isn't just double gas into factory then an expand, this is like starport and the whole shebang, so he's really going for absolutely just all-out aggression initially and then expanding a bit later, which can have its positives, but he will generally fall behind on work account, so you'll look for some damage somewhere, or maybe even a faster third CC to then make up for it.
Well, Reaper's poking up. Hopefully get some damage done. Unfortunately, that's going to cost him here. One of the cool small bits of backwater that you guys just may have missed is there is some odd brush placement on the map. Some small spots where you could maybe take early game skirmishes by stripping vision away from your opponent while you hide within said bushes. No one taking advantage of that yet, but just some really cool micro potential added by putting those in. A la League of Legends, if you will.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. We've seen a lot of players lately starting to hide units in bushes as well, and trying to kind of, you know, use that advantage to kind of get something out of it. As we see right now, Soul, this Hellion goes down, and there's only 1 Reaper in this bunker, so it really isn't that scary for the Cyclone to just continue wailing away at it, but eventually a couple more Marines show up, and the Cyclone will decide to disengage before it just takes more damage, so those SCVs are repairing the bunker anyways. I'm
really sad there's no, like, spinning units, like Artanis' Zealots or something, so I can start making some Garen memes here. Oh, I like this, though. Hellion's running past the bunker, trying to pick off some SCVs, but good reactions out of Soul. Pulls those, puts them on the bunker. These Hellions are going to be just dealt with now, instead of picking off 5 or 6 workers.
Yeah, this is very nicely done by Soul. I mean, it's a nice idea by Ziggy, a good opportunity perhaps, but he gets shut down. That 1 Hellion finally getting stuck. and finally getting picked off. As the first Banshee does arrive from Ziggy, though, it's going to start dealing some damage because there's nothing in this main base.
What is this like bumper car thing they've added to the front of the Banshee in case it bumps into other Banshees? Like what?
So you can like hook it down or something. I don't.
Folks gonna be annoying to deal with. Soul does have a Raven on the way, so this won't be the end of the world. But this is so much damage Ziggy's getting done. This is nice. This is good for Ziggy.
Oh yeah, this is awesome. This is really sick for him. I mean, this is what 8 workers that the scans weren't available. Now the engineering bay is delayed, and he just goes straight into his 3rd CC as well. Yeah,
double expanding off this is fantastic. I love this move. Scan comes down, almost loses one of the Banshees, just going to a bad rally, but yikes. The Raven's still not out. He's gonna kill all the anti-air before the Raven's out. Ziggy might have just won the series with this Banshee play.
Yeah, Soul's just so underprepared for it. An auto turret will come down though. And obviously the Raven plus Cyclone will be able to shut it down completely in the end. 14 workers killed is already more than enough. I mean, if it was, more damage being done, it would just be Ziggy getting even further ahead at this stage.
Yeah, turret's down on his side of the map too, so this Banshee's potential is not nearly as great as the other ones. Still though, with some good micro, we see him kind of bobbing in, weaving, getting a couple of kills.
But then he's still just in this position where, well, Ziggy actually hasn't started his orbital on the natural, but he has got that 3rd CC now finished up, right? So he's going to be ahead on workers, plus he's going to be making more workers, and Soul in the meantime is going to try and do something with this Banshee, which is kind of being hunted down. Actually, is going to get into the main, but again, the missile turret does a good enough job of zoning it out here.
Yeah, I didn't think something was going to look worse than the Cyclone, but I take it back, Wardy.
Well, you mean you're not a fan of the Raven? That looks like it's literally from a junkyard.
Yeah, it's like not even cool grungy like Borderlands would be. It looks just. I'm not a fan.
How does it even fly? It looks as though its wings are about to drop off. 3
extra boosters it has, obviously.
Yeah, well, it needs it for like keeping up such a hunk of scrap metal.
And a hunk of junk. Thank you very much to Nitromus, by the way. That Prime sub is greatly appreciated. If you guys don't know, there are some cool benefits to being subscribed to BaseTradeTV for the 4 other folks who joined recently, all of our 1,000th subscribers. But as we said, replay packs out from almost every single tournament we cast. So that's Korean events, that's European events, you name it, you got it. We got you covered when it comes to replays. The only exception to this is every week we cast the Alima League and we do not send their replays out as they handle that. But yeah, you guys are having a good time. If you like StarCraft 2, it's a good way to learn, good resource to have, and heck, if you want to cast the games for yourself, easy peasy, you got it. Replays at your disposal.
That's why I mess up. Just take all the base content and cast it again.
And re-upload it, yep. Oh wait, no, sorry, that's the Russian streamers.
Couple of barracks, couple of factories coming down. We've seen Bio versus Mech here for this next game, and that's always fun. Something different from what we've seen so far.
So there's an ability called Interference Matrix some of you might not be familiar with. This blacks out a unit. It can still move, but it can't actually attack or perform any of its own abilities. And one of the big things you can do is basically remove the tank. It can be sitting there in siege mode, but it can't shoot if you throw the Interference Matrix on it from the Raven. It only costs 50 energy, so you can cast it on quite a few units, and it lasts for a whopping 8 seconds. I think if he throws that down on the Cyclone, if he throws it down on the 2 tanks, 3 tanks, like, Ziggy's got an easy fight on his hands.
He should throw down on the Raven as well, though, and you actually do see it coming down on the Raven of Ziggy. As you can see the Cyclones, though, still going. The double Raven is the savior here right now for Ziggy, because it means he will still get those Interference Matrices down, and so you can clean it out.
It's so silly watching like the Interference Matrix cancel the Interference Matrix of that second Raven, but that Raven lives with 100 energy, so he can still make use of this in the next engagement. Either way, fantastic fight for Ziggy. Could not have gone better for him.
Oh yeah, he cleans up absolutely everything here of Soul, and now he's going to be in this position where, if your SCVs come off the line, he repairs up, his army's still good, he's in the worker lead, the base lead, he's got everything, and he's playing mech here. He's not meant to have all of those advantages. That's what the bio player should be having. So yeah. Right now, Ziggy is in a really great position.
Oh no! Did you see that leg spike? Was that just me?
I did.
Okay, so it's probably Soul then. Just a quick note, as some people are lamenting about this in chat, we are hosting, the plan is to host one style of amateur tournament every week for the rest of 2018. So if you missed your opportunity to play as the Diamond and Below tournament, worry not. We got you next week with Platinum and below, then Gold and below behind that. Then next month it starts all over again, Diamond below, and so forth. So we got a lot of amateur tournaments coming up for the rest of the year, and each week we're going to be paying for coaching for some other player. So guys, we got you. Don't worry. If you missed out today, it's not the end of the world. There's plenty of other opportunities coming up.
Tanks here behind this army are firing away as Soul is trying to defend, but those interference matrices are ready to go once again, and Soul doesn't have his own Raven to shut it down this time, so it's going to be tough for him, as I think Ziggy might just completely dive on in.
He's got 4. He's actually able to black out every single tank. Doing some double interference matrices is a bit of a waste. Doesn't quite put it down that last tank. Would love to see that happen, but the tank's already dead when it lands, so it doesn't matter. Raven's gone now, but he took out the tanks, and that was the important factor here, because the tanks were the only thing that are going to keep Ziggy back.
And now, of course, Ziggy just keeps on pressing forwards. Hellions reinforce this, and I mean, those Cyclones are just never going to fall, are they? His CC, the natural of Soul, is just under so much pressure, and here we go. The SCVs pull forward. Oh, man.
Yeah, the SCVs are a non-issue for this mech army. One of the tanks does go down. The Marauders get some good shots off now on the Cyclones, but there's backup. More tanks arrive in that front line. 27 SCVs just died, so even if Soul holds on to this, he still took so much damage.
Yeah, he really did. These couple of tanks just not going to siege up to get rid of the last couple of bio units, and I mean, that CC is still taking some hits. Finally, another tank arrives from Soul, but it feels like an absolute eternity. We've been waiting for that to show up. It's just going to be seeing Ziggy. He just hit here.
Three Hellions had snuck through right to that third. Clean the clock out of this base. 30 workers dead in total. 21 left on the map. There's almost no chance of recovery for Soul, even if he takes a fight. But that's a big if in and of itself. He is going to get on top of the tanks, try and collapse a bit. He actually might clean this up, but he's left with nothing for it. 21 SCVs and a burning CC. This is not. This is like inheriting somebody's debt. You just don't want it.
No, you really don't. It's going to be seeing these SCVs going to come down to the natural, start mining away once again. But I mean, look at all these factories.
Yeah, what is this factory placement?
Why has he got 7 factories already?
Well, not just 7 factories, but why are they mostly on the ground out here? So poorly simmed city that he actually cannot put add-ons to these.
Wow, that's Ziggy maybe just getting into like a little bit of a panic mode when he was across the map and making sure he kept his macro up. But either way, I mean, he's got tanks in front of them. He can protect them, right? And there's just no way that Soul's going to break this position. Vikings are here. The tanks are there. It's just not going to happen at all. And this is just Ziggy looking to kind of upset Soul, I would say. I think Ziggy beating Soul is a little bit of an upset here today. Another scan. CC moving. Soul isn't even building SCVs, by the way. He's still on 21. Just completely
I don't blame him.
units.
I think all in's the way to go, but unfortunately he just doesn't have the units to pull it off. With Liberators coming out as well, this is going to be even more difficult. Plenty of tanks out for the defense, and if those medevacs get sniped by the Vikings, there's no hope for the bio. The only thing that makes Marines good is not stim, but the fact that they can be healed after stimming.
You've seen that set of Marines coming in right now, and they do get a couple of Vikings, but already a medevac or so went down, and well, I mean, Ziggy, I think, is starting to realize that he just has enough to fight this anyways. Tank's going to relocate a little bit, but now he's just got so many Hellions as well. Liberator sieges up, and Soul just cannot find an entrance point, even though he's still only making units, and he has to find a fight sometime sooner rather than later. Good
shots coming out of Ziggy on this one. He's playing hit and run with the Hellions, which is the right move. You don't want to just leave them in their dogfighting unless they're Hellbats. Marauders are all just so low from stimming more than the damage dealt to them. Soul's army beyond recovery at this point, I think it's safe to say. Liberator has denied mining on the third, not that there's even enough SCVs to saturate this base in the first place.
Let's see this Viking coming in, just going to start doing a little bit more damage once again, and I mean, is that another Liberator? Yes, it is, and that's going to be even more mining denied here. Soul just cannot afford for this. I mean, he's only had 21 workers for a long time, and now that's finally dropping even further. As he just loses, what, like a 1/7 of his economy right there? It's not pretty.
It's a pretty horrible way to, I guess, describe that, but true, yeah.
I just wanted to do the math, man. One time.
Well, looking to go for that final push. This really is his last push.
Yep, I mean, Vikings getting rid of the medevacs, the Marauders are falling, and Soul is going to get knocked down here in the quarterfinals, which means that Ziggy will qualify for the BTSL Europe. And of course, we'll be able to advance on to play against Snoot in today's semi-finals.
My internet is
biggest.
stronger than Cyril. That is quite the statement to make. That is some bad internet.
I want to see Soul's internet versus Cyril. Best of 7, let's go.
All right, folks. So we've got our first qualified player through that we got to cast. We, of course, see sort of on the bottom side of the bracket, Snoot on the top side. We are going to have Soul versus Snoot actually coming up next here. Best of 3 TVZ. At this point, it is combination seeding and combination prize money available to the players. But all of this is just, it's kind of a wash. It's not the end of the world if you don't win this. It just determines group stages to be picked slightly differently. Either way, I'm really excited to see how Ziggy holds up against Snoot. If he can take on Soul, I believe him to take on Snoot. But Snoot's TVZ is like his best matchup, so really watch out. Yeah. Watch out.
Gonna be tough.
Warzag, thank you by the way very much for the sub. Warzag, who also donated a good chunk of change to the prize pool for this tournament. In fact, he said, I want Wardy with $51. I told you some guy had thrown some bucks in. He wants to get Wardy over the BTSL Canada offline finals. And we're going to try our best to make that happen, guys.
Yeah.
And you can help too by doing things like watching these commercials. We'll see you guys in a few minutes.